Alive.
Hi, everybody. My name is David Cole. I'm with CV2 and with Jennifer Dick and NextMap, Chi at MIT and Cambridge, and with Paul O, National Writing Project. Paul's in Berkeley right now. It's 11 o'clock West Coast time. We're soon to be joined by folks from the Southern Nevada Writing Project. And this is Hack Your Notebook Day, July 9th, 2014, hashtag HYNB214. And we've just finished two different webinars and hangouts with other sites. So we're looking forward to speak with the folks in Nevada soon. But it's been just great. We spoke with people in Virginia at Albemarle County Public Schools who checked in with three different school sites that are doing summer camps. We talked with a writing project at Red Cedar up in Michigan, and also checked in with a colleague of G's in Barcelona right now working with the FabLearn movement and talked about open hardware. So there's been a conversation about all sorts of things. This began as a discussion about the technical and expressive expertise that happens when you bring electronics to a notebook and what that could mean. And it's really the brainchild of G in Cambridge with the tools and the materials that she's created in her circuit stickers. And it was an inspiration for Jen and me, and also for Paul and his colleagues at the Writing Project to think about what happens when writing meets electronics. And so we've been exploring that, and Hack Your Notebook Day is happening around the country at a bunch of different sites. It started last week with the Tech Museum in San Jose, some writing project sites in Denver, and there are people around the country working on it now. And so today's a day when we're checking in a bunch of locations, talking about what the experience means in different settings for different learners, for educators, and seeing what people did. So if you're looking now online, we might be sharing things. But we were going to take a moment while Nevada shows up just to check in about what's gone on so far. It's been a lot of conversation, a lot of things being shared on Twitter. Things are happening right now around the country, so we wanted to sort of get a feel for where we are. Jen or Paul, do you want to pick that up?
I just got kicked off the network.
Oh, Jen just got kicked off the network. Like to back?
Yeah, I'll just jump in to say from the various experiences that we've witnessed, either through previous Educator Innovator webinars here this morning, and based on a conversation that we had with the Red Cedar educators, I'm just amazed by the creative explosion that we've witnessed among young people as well as adults. And I think that the other thing that we keep hearing over and over again is this notion of persistence, this idea that there's something about this work that causes all of the people who are hacking notebooks today to really stay engaged. And we've seen this in the work that we've led or facilitated over this past year, that there really does seem to be this high level of engagement that leads to persistence. And I think that that's really interesting to think about and exciting to see. And the other piece to this that I would just add is I think there's also a sense of overcoming, and this is related to persistence, but overcoming initial doubts and fears, and I think often that has been facilitated by the ability of people to work in groups. So I think what's interesting to me is this notion of the notebook as a communal artifact. So not just simply something that we keep solely to ourselves, but something that we build in community with others. It's just been an interesting and kind of mind-blowing morning so far. But I'm not sure if Jen or G have anything that they want to add.
I'm just, some of the things that come to my mind and which I get really excited about are just seeing what people come up with, because you introduce one light and that light can turn into all sorts of crazy things. Not crazy bad, crazy awesome, right? And so a few things that we saw earlier today were someone did, instead of hacking the notebook, hacking the student, and they actually took the circuitry off the page, I guess because it's a giant sticker, and stuck it to their hands and made little light up finger lights, which I thought were really, really cool and really sweet. And then other folks who maybe start with the same circuit. There was a girl who created a book that had two red lights, but then because the lights shine through the different pages, she actually had different images from like an octopus to a shark to two roses to like this zombie plant shooter thing, which was really, really neat, but all from two little red lights. A, I thought was like really cool that she thought of so many different things, but B, she thought of it also as, oh, a light can shine through multiple sheets of paper. Like that's a technical leap that I was like, wow, so cool. Did not think of that. And so, I don't know, there's just been so many really cool, really surprising, really brilliant ideas coming today. And I don't know, just wanted to, so excited to see more and share more, I guess, too.
Well, I'll jump in. One thing that there was a picture that came out of Elvamar where they said they put lights on a paper airplane and then wanted to make a propeller, and so they started to 3D print a propeller. And you know, the conversation about how, well, there's Ben David from Southern Nevada. Ben, is that you?
Yes, that's us.
Great, nice to have you along.
Glad to be here.
Hi. Hello.
Hey, let's do some introductions. I think hey Ben, Jennifer, Dick, and I. Jen's with NextMap. I'm with CV2. We collaborate with Paul at the NWP back in Berkeley.
And I'm G over here at MIT.
And hi, Ben. I am Paul O. I'm with the National Writing Project.
Oh, there you are.
And did you want to introduce yourselves over in Southern Nevada while we're waiting for Jen to get herself settled?
Sure. My name is Ben. I'm one of the facilitators for the Summer Institute at Southern Nevada Writing Project.
Hi, I'm Stephanie. I'm another facilitator here in Southern Nevada.
And I'm Marilyn from Southern Nevada. And we've got a whole crew of other folks out here who have been making and hacking and creating and doing all kinds of cool things.
They're smiling and waving.
So you're projected up on the big screen in our room.
Great.
They're going to wander up and show things, if that works.
That works. That's been how it's been going from Red Cedar to Virginia and back again, for sure. That's great. Marilyn, nice to meet you in person.
Yes, yes. And gee, we've been really enjoying your little LED lights, and everybody wants to be able to buy them.
Cool. I'm glad, and you can actually if you go to chibitronics.com. So hope you can enjoy more of those.
Great.
When the time comes. Yeah.
You know, I'm wondering so it's really interesting to hear that everyone is enjoying the work, and I'm wondering like what the experience has been in a general way for you all. What is it that people have been thinking about or talking about before we perhaps hear from individuals and see the individual work that's been created?
Well, I think everybody has been really enjoying the discovery of not just what a circuit is and sort of revisiting science that may have been lost on us, but finding new ways to do something we've been doing all summer. We've been spending our summer hacking writing and modifying writing, and this is just which typically has been really focused in the digital world. We did do some making of some physical artifacts, but what's been really rewarding for everyone today is to be able to do something physically with their words instead of just something that's digital with their words. So that's been a lot of, the talk has been how exciting it is to be, hacking with something that's digital but exists in the physical sort of world.
Cool. So does that mean you were kind of writing digitally and then printing, and then so digital and physical, or writing on just notebooks? And there's all sorts of ways to interpret digital physical, right? Hacking.
Yeah. We were kind of interpreting physical as more like analog, so something that either was written with a pen or something that was printed on a sheet of paper, and then digital being sort of the use of the electricity to kind of come in and breathe a new life into those physical products.
Cool. And, well, was the I guess the breathing in with electrons, maybe the circuitry part, was that stuff that you guys had not done before? And I'm curious to hear what it's like to kind of approach that, but as a writing or that sort of activity.
Yeah. Does anybody want to comment on that? It's not something that any of us had done before. A couple of the facilitators, we'd attended different workshops with the National Writing Project, but it was not something that the rest of the participants had ever done before. So does anyone want to come and share what it was like?
Yeah.
Sure, I will.
Okay, we have Ruth is going to come up and share a little bit of her experiences this morning working with us. So I think a lot of you know Ruth. So
Hi, I'm Ruth Devlin. I think that one of the things that using the electronic circuitry along with writing made me think about was that I think it gave me a different focal point. So I wrote some haikus, I thought about the art that I was going to have go along with them, and then had to think about, well, what is it about the light that will make my drawing fit with my writing? So I think that I don't typically think about such a strong focal point in art, although there might be a strong focal point in the writing. So combining that art and the writing together, and then where is the light going to happen, and which kind of new circuit am I going to try and use to make that work? And Ben was great at giving us guiding us through the different types of circuits.
Cool.
And I'm sure there must be someone else who has something to share.
You know, while we're waiting, I just want to say that, first of all, hi, Ruth. And
hi, Paul.
Hi. I think what you were describing actually is something that we have seen emerge out of this work, which is this whole notion of how do you understand the system that you're creating? It's this sort of systems thinking slash designing kind of process that one has to engage in, when one is trying to combine these various elements of art and text or drawing circuits. So I think that it's really fascinating, this whole notion of systems thinking.
Yeah.
And I can see younger children, or maybe even older kids, I work with second graders, being able to not only use the circuitry with writing that they're doing in the classroom, but also to use the circuitry, or use writing to help describe the electronics. So doing nonfiction writing as well as whatever other piece of writing they're choosing to go along with their circuitry.
Cool.
And I think I interrupted you, G. What were you going to say?
No, I was just, it's really neat that, because you can make circuits about writing, you can write about circuits, you can use writing and circuits to talk about anything in your haiku. It's just really neat that there's that openness, and I guess I'm always curious how other people approach this system, right? Like, so you write your poem, or you make the light first and then you think about the design of the drawing afterwards, or how does it come together, and how does it not become overwhelming if it's too many pieces all at one time and they're all different?
Well, I know after looking at the blog writing that was up, it occurred to me that if I were to do some writing ahead of time with a light theme in mind, that might guide the rest of the work that I would do. So I approached it from that way, writing about light and then figuring out what piece of art would go with it. I think we have someone else who's coming up.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, that's really interesting that you asked about the process, because it's been interpreted in a couple different ways by different people. There was a process that, as I tried to interpret the Hack Your Notebook Day materials sort of in leading everyone through, there was a process I adapted, which was I had them draw the picture first and then we made the circuit. But one of our participants, Jacob, he flipped it, and he was excited and told us a little bit about why. So I think I think he wants to come up and share his interpretation of the process and why maybe he flipped the initial way that we tried to approach it. So
Jacob.
he's
We hate to
getting
just
all his
leave you with a
materials.
blank wall here
Yeah.
behind, so.
Oh, thanks.
Here now, Jacob.
No, I was saying like your process, like did you create the idea first?
Oh, I got you. Which one am I looking at here?
I'll get that.
Hello.
Hi, Jacob.
How are you?
Good.
Good. Well, what he was discussing about how I flipped it was I actually ended up, before I wrote anything or created anything, I did the circuit first because that's just how I saw it in my head. And then I actually ended up creating it. And what it was, I don't know if you guys could see it. It's pretty simple. You could see it like that. But how I saw it when I picked up the notebook is I just wanted to make a maze out of it.
Huh.
And when you hook it up, it has like the start and the finish light up. So I just saw it a little bit differently when I know normally it would be the writing part first. I saw the circuit part first, and then I was able to create the writing from that. So, but I do think it's pretty fun. It's definitely a new way to look at creative projects, and I think could be pretty useful in a class to get students more involved and just have them possibly see an assignment differently, more kind of the hands-on students rather than just the sit down and write students. So I thought it was a lot of fun. It was a good idea.
Cool. I'm curious. Is like the hands-on making stuff side how you like normally approach things? So, because I realize maybe some folks like to sketch and plan, other folks like to work with their hands until something interesting happens, and perhaps you do the one that you're comfortable, more interested in first. I don't know.
Well, it's kind of how the assignment was offered to us. Ben did a great job giving us like a step-by-step through everything. We made like a little simple circuit, and then the using one with 2 lights, and then one with the switch, and then
Cool.
I don't know. It's just I think it just has to do with whatever the assignment was.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and thanks for helping us out and sharing this with us. Definitely enjoyed it. Thanks.
Thanks for sharing it with us too.
Hey, Jacob, this is David.
Oh, Jacob,
I'm back.
You're
All right.
back. Hey, can you put your project up there again? I mean, it struck me that you started with the 2 lights and then you made a maze. Some people tend to go and they make stories around it and they make things that are pretty figurative.
Mm-hmm.
I like the fact that yours, you made a real circuit and then you made a maze which looks like a circuit, and it's entirely like a visual system. I mean, mazes are really cool ideas anyway.
Yeah.
Can you see it again?
Yeah, just hooking it up properly. So, not sure if it's lighting up, but
Yeah, that's
Glowing.
beautiful. It's like a circuit itself. So
Yeah,
when you talked about the writing in relation to it, like some people tend to get very literal and they make cards, and they make little thought bubbles and stuff. But you did a circuit and then made a visual imprint on it. What kind of writing did you do around it, or in relation to that thing? I'm curious.
just a piece that I've done with writings that do have to do with like a maze or something. Just free writes on, just stream of consciousness, something like that. Nothing specific or deliberate. It's just a whole bunch of, I have something on my mind, I'll write it. So it's one of the first things I thought of when I saw that we had like a graph paper to work with. So.
Mm-hmm. One thing that really strikes me looking at that is that when I want to go do your maze. And there's a whole question of like you can get really engaged in these things, and people have talked a lot today, and that's I think part of the experience is that it's very collaborative. So you made a thing that makes me want to go figure your maze out. Like if you held it up to the camera long enough, I'd be tracing it on my iPad. So,
I'll make another one because I kind of goofed on this one, but I'll make another one and post it for you guys so you can check it out.
That'd be great, and I think that's sort of part of the puzzle. I think that we're really curious about is the way that people get engaged in each other's work with this. And thanks a lot.
No, thank you guys.
I also wanted to touch on something else that came up, talking about the different learning styles and learning preferences, how some people wanted to start with the story or the art, whereas other people wanted to master the technical aspect of the project first. I think that can be a really useful tool for teachers to figure out, what kind of preferences do my students have, and are they learners who want the directions in the step-by-step, or are they learners who prefer to figure it out on your own? Because then that helps you adjust your own practice and meeting them where they are in a way that makes sense to them. Were there other
Is there anyone
projects that
else?
people want to
Yeah.
share?
Yeah.
Exactly. Is there anyone else in Southern Nevada? That's true.
True. Does anyone want to volunteer? Great. We have one other person coming up right now. Everyone's really shy this morning for whatever reason. They're really amazing things. We have some Shakespeare sonnets, a couple like life mantras that have been explored more with the inclusion of, paper circuitry. So Stephanie's back.
I'm back, better than ever.
Hi, Stephanie.
Hello. Well, I introduced myself. I'm one of the facilitators, and yesterday I had I don't know if it's a privilege or the obligation or what, of introducing circuits. And it really struck me that I use circuits all the time, and I really have no idea what they are, or how they're used. So I actually went and got we're on campus at UNLV. So I got a friend who's a chemist to come and explain it to us, because I really didn't understand it. So listening to him talk about electricity and then today working with it, I know so much more. But it was really difficult for me. I had to concentrate very hard on what Ben was saying when he walked us through the process. And my first attempt failed. And then the second two attempts, as he walked us through, I succeeded in illuminating my picture. But then the final project we had to just do on our own. And it took me a really long time, and I just finally got it. And I illuminated this postcard that we did a visual art and writing exercise with the other day. But I finally illuminated this postcard, who, in my opinion, I feel like it's Louisa May Alcott, or maybe it's Jo from Little Women, because she's sitting in this attic. And then her papers are here on this trunk, or maybe it's Emily Dickinson, because she kept all of her papers in a trunk. But can you see that? I put a little illumination. See, I'll turn it off.
Yeah, I can see that really well.
But anyway, I'm going to use this as a thank you note to my friend who's a chemist who explained circuits to me yesterday. So that took me a really long time.
It's awesome.
It's good. It really, pushed my brain in a different way.
I think that's lovely. And one thing that I wanted to pick up on, Stephanie, is this idea that we're surrounded by circuits, and yet for most of us, or many of us, even if we've taken high school science, we're not really totally sure what we're doing when we turn on a light switch or engage with those circuits. And I think that is really a fundamental aspect of this work, and the work that we're trying to engage in at Educator Innovator and at the National Writing Project. This idea of being creators, right? As writers, or as hackers, or as makers. This notion of being creators rather than just simply consumers, and unwitting consumers. So I think that's a really critical perspective that you're bringing to the conversation here.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, we had a discussion yesterday about, because we are English people, and we sat in science classes, and our teachers used words like atoms and planes, and I don't even remember what else they said, because it was meaningless to us. We said, show it to us, and they never showed it to us. So to be able to create helps us understand. So that's all. Here's Sean.
Hello. So I approached this from a high school English teacher perspective. How would I use it? And I took a Shakespearean sonnet, and I broke it up into 3 pages. But if you can, where's the camera? So I took this last stanza and couplet, and then illuminated it so that I could kind of play with the light, because Shakespeare plays a lot with light and dark, and so I thought that would make an interesting visual. Is it lit up? Yeah. Okay. So that's one way I think I might use it in the classroom if I can get a hold of the supplies. Thanks for the great idea.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for your great idea, too.
Puts a whole new spin on Shakespeare's Dark Lady.
Yeah, it started off kind of, grim with the hourglass, and passage of time, and then it goes into in the wintertime. I illuminated the moon and the stark landscape, but then it all got better in the end. So, all right, next up we have one of our facilitators.
Thanks.
Hi, I'm Liz Spalding, so I'm a
Hi, Liz.
faculty member here at UNLV and work in the writing project. So I did something a little bit different, so I thought I'd share it. But no. All right, this was my artifact that I brought last year. It is the prayer book that I received at my first communion. I was raised a Roman Catholic, and this has pervaded my life, whether I like it or not. So this morning I thought, maybe I'll just take that little prayer book and hack it. So
hack the prayer book. I think that's a first.
This is of the Sacred Heart of Jesus, and Jesus' heart is lit up. And I've just been going through and finding images like your guardian angel, by your side when you go to bed, and I'm going to light up the crucifix when you touch the guardian angel. And then, so I hacked an artifact, a cultural artifact, so something a little bit different.
Very. I love that.
Yeah.
Really do.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And how did you feel adding these new things to something that you've kind of had for a long time? Oh.
Well, no, I just wanted to keep it on the screen so you can see it.
Yeah.
I felt just fine. I was like, you know what? This prayer book only means something to me, so I might as well make it something personalized. So I thought it was fun, and I'm still having fun with it.
So cool.
That's great.
Ruth just said I can read it at night in bed.
Right. It's illuminated.
Illuminated manuscript.
Yeah.
Tabatha.
You guys have time for one more?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi there.
So, I'm Tabitha. I kind of tried to incorporate something personal for me, and this last 4 weeks I tried a lot of things new, and so I did a 6-word memoir. Step outside your comfort zone, and I lit up certain words because some of these things are very difficult for me, and I just added some pictures, things that are hard for me, initiating conversations and just some different things. But I kind of took the artistic approach, and I really enjoy the circuitry, and I feel like this was such a creative thing, and there's so many students that would love just doing the hands-on approach, just adding the lighting. It inspires you to want to do something creative to so to speak, fixate on it.
Wow. That's beautiful. And I appreciate you sharing something personal and powerful like that.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone else? Okay. Well, everyone else is shy, but there are many more wonderful things that have been created today, and I think that a couple people are still going to be finishing things up for a few minutes before we head out for a writing marathon. But one of the things that we did is we went and we got Moleskines, and so they're just the small notebooks. And what was really cool is they're totally blank, and we just gave them out at the beginning. We said, this is your prototype. Fill this with your ideas, your mistakes, your successes, and it's really from learning in here that you might come up with that idea for a book of haikus, or a short story that features sort of the repetend of a light that travels from point to point or does something in each scene. And people really got involved in that idea, that this was you know, in the same way that these are intended to be, you know, that little booklet you take around and you write whatever thoughts in, and maybe something will come of it. Just that, you know, they can hack on each page of this something totally different, and you know, they could have failed circuits or things that they're just like, oh, I don't want to do anything with that. But you know, that this is really a work in progress, and to embrace, you know, sort of that part of it. So they seem to really enjoy that part.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
No problem. Thank you. We really enjoyed all the work you guys have done preparing. The materials were wonderful, and I think everyone, not only have we had a good morning, but also have some really powerful ideas about how this might be applicable in our classroom and for our students.
Bye. It was great to hang out with you guys.
Thanks, Marilyn. Thanks.
So long. And, you know, and I just wanted to quickly add before we go that I think if you or the people in your summer institute who've been doing this work, Ben and Marilyn, if you're interested, you should definitely consider reflecting on this at Digital Is. You know, so if, for instance, out of your writing marathon, you know, something or pieces come out, or out of your summer institute pieces come out about, you know, what you've done today, you know, feel free to publish at Digital Is. Really wonderful work. So thank you for sharing here.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.